Good evening, Dhamma friends. Welcome back to our OPRC class, online Pali reading class, day 102. Shall we start the class by paying respect to the Buddha? Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Namo tassa bhagavato arahato samma sambuddhassa. Once again, good evening, Dhamma friends. We are going to discuss another Dhammapada stanza, which is appearing in Pandita Vakya today. So the Dhammapada stanza we are going to discuss today is Dhammapada 81. Let's take a look at the stanza first. Yeah, it has to be 81 here. Small typo. Selo yatha ekagano vatena na samirati evam ninda pasangsasu na saminjanti pandita. Selo yatha ekagano vatena na samirati evam ninda pasangsasu na saminjanti pandita. Give me a second. Perhaps I can edit this part before we get into the text. So, okay, this looks good. All right. Once again, selo yatha ekagano vatena na samirati evam ninda pasansasu na saminjanti pandita. So we'll be asking from groups now, group 1, and from group 1. Yes, Pauline, please.
Tukihotu Bhante and everyone.
Yes,
Selo yata eka gano, watena na sami rati. Evam ninda pasam sasu, na samin janti pandita.
okay, great.
Thank you,
And
Bhante.
then someone from group 2. Someone from group 2. Yes, Suzanne, please. All right.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yeah.
Sorry. Stelo yata ikagano vatena na samirati evam ninda pasam sasu na saminjanti pandita.
Yeah, great.
Thank you.
And group 3. Yes, Lisa, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Selo yata eke gano vatena ner samirati evam ninda pasam sasu ner saminjanti pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And group 4. Yes, KBO.
Thank you, Bhante. Selo yatha eka gano. Yatena na samirati.
Vatena.
Samirati.
Yeah, vatena na samirati.
Vatena na samirati.
Okay.
Evang ninda pasam sasu na saminjati pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And then group 5. Yes, Melinda, let's go ahead.
Thank you, Bhante. Selo yata ekagano, watena na samirati, evan linda pasan sasu, na saminjati pandita.
Samin Janti Pandita.
Oh, na saminjanti pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And group 6. Get Sipon, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Selo yata ekagano, watena na sami rati. Ewan ninda pasam sasu, na samin janti patita.
Right. And then we ask him from group 7. Anybody? Group 7. Yes, Stacy, please go ahead.
Selo yata ekagano yatena na samirat
Vate.
vatena na samirati evang ninda pasang sasu na samanjati pandita
Samin Janti.
na saminjanti pandita.
Okay, great. And group 8.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes, Doris, please.
Thank you, Bhante. Seto yata ekagano.
Selo.
Selo yata ekagano. Vatena na samirati. Evam ninda pasam sasu. Na saminjanti pandita.
Saminjanti.
Great.
Yeah. Thank you, Bhante.
Then anybody else? We'll be asking from groups, people who couldn't recite under the groups. We'll be starting with B-Link, please.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes.
Selo yata ekagano. Vatena na samirati. Evang ninda pasang sasu. Na saminjati pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
Jenny,
Good evening, Bhante.
good evening.
Selo yata ekagano, watena na samirati. Ewang ninda pasang sasu, na saminjanti pandita.
Great.
Thank you.
19, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Selo yata ekagano. Vatena na samirati. Evang ninda pasang sasu. Na samin janti pandita.
Okay, great. And Mei-Ling, please.
Sukio tu Bhante.
Go to
Selo yata ekagano watena na samirati. Evam ninda pasam sasu na samin janti pandita.
okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Jing, please.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Selo yata ikagano, vatena na samirati, ivang ninda pasang sasu, na saminjanti pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Margaret,
Good evening, Bhante.
good evening.
Selo yata ekagano vatena na samirati. Evam minda pasam sasu na samin janti pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
And Corina,
Good evening, Bhante.
good evening.
Selo yata eka no wantena
Vate.
vatena na samirati. Evam minda pasa sasu na san minjanti padita.
Okay, great.
Thank you, Bhante.
Yes. Is there anyone else who would like to read? Yes, Cindy. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening, Cindy. Please.
Telo yata eka gano. Vatena na samirati. Evam linda pasam sasu. Na samin janti pandita.
Okay, great.
Thank you.
And Katie. Yes.
Good evening, Bhante.
Good evening.
Selo yata eka hano watena na simirati ewang ni
Samira. Samirati.
samirati wetena na samirati ewang nita pasasasu na sami janti patinda.
Great. And Kelvin, are you going to read too? Not Kelvin, Kevin. Kevin, are you going to read too?
No. I am accidentally touched the microphone.
All right. Anybody else? Anybody who joined lately? Perhaps we can ask Angela. Are you here with us? Okay.
Yes, Bhante.
Yeah. Would you like to read?
Okay. Yeah. Selo yata ekagano watena na samirati evam linda pasamsasu na samin janti pandita.
Okay, great. All right. So at this point, then we are going to look at the translation, English translation of this stanza, and then the contextual meaning, followed by the story, and then the bigger perspectives of the idea of the stanza. So, selo yatha ekagano vatena na samirati. Evam ninda pasansasu na saminjanti pandita. Now, as we can see, the stanza is about wise individuals, pandita. You can see it here, pandita. Now, the Buddha gives us an example as to how pandita, how wise individuals experience or process their situations of blame and praise. And he asks, or maybe he explains that panditas are just like solid rocks that are not wavering. But people who are not pandita, bala are just like the wind that is always going here and there. We have to be very careful because this is a particular context. Sometimes maybe the wind might be a way to look at the wise individuals. So there are certain contexts with regard to how we need to understand this part. Selo yata ekagano. Ekagano selo. Right? Ekagano means
Solid.
Right? It's a solid. Selo, rock.
Rock.
So it means just as a solid rock. Vatena na samirati. Samirati means
Not shaken.
Yes. Means just as a solid rock. Just as a solid rock is not shaken. Vata means wind. Samirati means again shaking. May I know what are the other places of Vata? Where have you learned about Vata? V-long-A-T-A. What is Vata? Is it something you have come across in your reading, Pali Sutta reading, chanting before? Anybody? I think that you are chanting, right? At least sometimes a week, maybe every day. Because in one of our discussions, I said that chanting is a meditation, and not even a chanting itself, a chanting. So when you chant by understanding what is inside the chanting, it will become a meditation. Were you able to find out this Pali word anywhere else in your chanting, in your sutta readings, any texts? I think I can give you a guess. What about Ratana Sutta? Have you ever found out anything about wind in the Ratana Sutta?
Bhante, the yatinda kilo patavin sidosya.
Ah,
To be what they be.
water. Ah, there is water. See, that's what. Yatinda kilo pataving sitosya chatubbi bi asampakampi. Something similar. It is said, just like the city post. What is this Indakila, the Pali word Indakila? Maybe we will go to Ratana Sutta because others might be a little bit confused otherwise. Let me switch Ratana Sutta. And
just
see.
as a firm post sunk in the earth cannot
Yeah.
be shaken by the four winds.
Yes. I'll be showing to everybody so you will understand. Yes, you can see here. Is it? Yes, this part. Yatinda kilo pataving sitosya chatubbi vatevi asampakampiyo. Now here we can see vata over here. Now it means just like the city post. Now in the kilo means city post. Why was this city post was established in the ground? What was the reason why in that time in ancient India they established this kind of city post? That is the border of the border or maybe a symbol of the kingdom. Right? Now normally when you are crossing borders, I don't know whether you are crossing borders in certain countries, there is a certain borderline now, right? Maybe there are certain monuments, something like that in that ancient India. So just like the city post or maybe the border post that was established by the king to mark his boundary of the kingdom. So when they do it, they have to make it very unshakable. Otherwise, how to find out the border, right? So they are making it in a way that is very strong. So just like the city post, yata in the kilo, pataving setosya. So when that city post is firmly established somewhere in the city, when that city post is not asampakampiyo, not oscillated, wavered through chatubbi vate, before types of vata, winds. Now may I know what are those 4 types of vata? Vatas, winds that are coming from the main 4 directions. Vata that wind that comes from the north, south, west, and east. I mean, if you establish the city post somewhere and from there onwards, simulating the point and then looking at the both 4 sides. So in that way, now the Buddha is referring to the Sotapanna's mental states. Just like the city post that was buried under the earth, which is not shaken by the 4 winds. Tata Rupam. In the same way, I proclaim about the Sotapanna person. Because yo Arya Satchani avicca passati. They have seen the 4 noble truths. They have firmly seen the 4 noble truths. Avicca, their way of seeing and understanding and realizing the 4 noble truths is unshaken. Avicca means unshaken. Now you understand that the Pali word vata was not new to you, but it is new to your memory. Yeah? your mindfulness. It is new to your mindfulness, but it was not new to your memory. It was already there. Yes, I'm trying to sometimes cross-check to show you some of the things that from the existing knowledge that you have. Ratana Sutta is a very basic Pali chanting that wherever you go to, maybe you go to a temple, even monks go to chant for you, they always chant this sutta. So now we learn from that sutta, the Pali word vata was already used in the sense of what you call 4 winds with regard to the Sotapans. And then let's go back to the Pali word vata again. Okay, just like the solid rock that is not shaken by the wind, any type of wind, Pandita, wise individuals do not change. They do not, Saminjan, they do not change in the face of blame. Ninda means blame. Pasansa means praise. Now, what do you think about this? Are you wise or are you unwise? I mean, this is one way to look at wisdom or ignorance now. So when someone criticizes you, are you getting very much moved by that criticism? How come you criticize me? I'm such a good person for you. I've been taking care of you. I've been supporting you. How many complaints you are making at that point? I haven't seen, maybe I just guess. Maybe you are not. Or when people are supporting you, how many times, how often you are, maybe you might be exaggerating those people too, about the things they have done for you. That means Buddhism asks us to keep our mental states in a balanced level. Okay, that is a Sappurisa quality. That means if you are someone, if you notice someone who are moved by any criticism, compliment, then you cannot be called as a wise person. So now there is a reference with regard to understanding this thing. Now think about, you are practicing Dhamma, and then at the same time you are trying to measure your progress. Sometimes you are doing really well. Some days are going by nicely. Some days might not be going that way. So you are not going to be frustrated about it. It is because there are sometimes reasons are not under us. Today we are looking at them, what we call 8 worldly conditions. They are part of this conversation today. So if you are a wise person, you are someone who is not moved by anybody's criticism or praise, but you are wisely responding. It doesn't mean that nobody is going through all the good things all the time. Even the Buddha went through a lot of criticism. May I know one of the criticism Buddha got in his life? One of the criticism was, there were a lot of criticisms that were directed at the Buddha. One criticism was about the Vassana time, Vassa time, right? Was there a Vassa time before many years after he became the Buddha? Was it very new compared to his 45 years lifetime? It was a new thing. To a certain point, until a certain point, certain time period, monks did not stay in a certain temple. They were going here and there. They were going from one place to another place. And then what happened? There was a time that devotees, maybe Jains, we call them as what you call Tirthakas, they started blaming the Buddha. What did they say? All the other non-Buddhist monastics stay in a temple during the Vassa time, rain time, but your disciples are still going here and there. So then when you are walking in this rain, you will go through problems. At the same time, you are stepping on new grass, maybe tiny creatures. Why don't you stay in a certain temple for the 3 months until the rain is going to finish? What did the Buddha say? Did the Buddha say, this is my way, you should accept what I do? No, he was a very compassionate person. He was listening to the real problems. He said, okay, I understand. So from maybe tomorrow, maybe from a future day onwards, I recommend Sangha members to stay in a temple for 3 months. That was a criticism, but he processed it in a very nice way. Sometimes there were criticisms that were directed without any ground. Now think about when heretics sent a lady to the temple. What was the lady's name?
Jincha.
Who was sent?
Chincha.
Jincha. The pregnant,
Chincha
pretending
Jincha.
pregnant.
one lady. There was another lady, Sundari Paribraj, right? Sundari. Chinchi Manavika was not going through a lot of problems, but Sundari, they set up a plan. They asked one lady to go to the temple every evening to engage in the puja and all that. And what happened after some time, they killed her. The heretics. Now they are setting up a plan for the Buddha. And then they buried her in front of the Jetarama temple under the pond. And they were spreading the rumor, Sundari is missing. Every evening she goes to the temple. But she didn't come back. Something must have happened to her. So they were all now looking for, and then they spread out the story. See, perhaps Buddha and his monks killed her. Her body must be somewhere in the temple, maybe next to the temple. And then they found out this place, right? And then devotees, everybody who was offering dana to the temple, they started blaming the Buddha. Well, think about it, if this happens in today's world, what could happen to the temple? Just imagine the situation. And then Venerable Ananda asked Bhante, can we leave this Savatthi? Because everybody is blaming us. And then Buddha advised him, what if the same situation will happen to us in the next city? We don't have to go anywhere, just stay here. This blame will last for a week of time. And then people will understand what happened. They all became emotional about what happened. So this was one incident. And Chinchi Manavika's incident, that was another incident. Chinchi Manavika was presented by them and then trying to insult the Buddha. This baby is yours. And then the story says that the Sakka impersonated as a rat and then cut the stack of firewood and all that fell down. Right? But people started believing. And she was, it was a setup too. But he was not really moved by anything what she was doing. He was compassionate to her as well, right? Yes, Sumita?
Yes, Bhante, there's another one is the Kasi Bharavaja Sutta.
Yeah. We are going to talk about that too.
Thank you.
Yes. So these are two very interesting incidents about how Buddha tackled. Of course, the Buddha had support from the Deva, Naga, Mahitika, and all these individuals. But the way how he handled tells us some advices with regard to our personal life, our internal, what you call life situations, right? Because we normally used to react to the situations when people blame us without any ground, right? So anyways, so there are so many incidents, so many stories. The one even Sumita mentioned, Kosaka Bharadwaja story. This Brahmin called Bharadwaja wanted to blame the Buddha. And then he came one day, and I think I shared this story long time ago already, but I would like to share again to see the connection to the story today and the idea. Kosaka Bharadwaja started blaming the Buddha by using many swear words, maybe some other hurtful words. Buddha did not say anything. sometimes when people are blaming, we are trying to blame them back, right? This is not what the Buddha practiced. If the Buddha didn't practice that thing, then why are we supposed to practice, saying things back to the person? So we have to learn from that story too. And then he was very silent. And then Buddha was waiting for a moment until Akosaka Bharadwaja finished his blame. And then he finished his blame at a certain point. And then the Buddha asked, "Are you done with your blame?" He said, "Yes." Brahmins can be angry, but they are intellectual people. Right? That's why there is a certain idea in our society. You can argue with an intellectual person, but not with a foolish person, right? Maybe our friends might be into that. That means this intellect might be very important. So after making sure that Akosaka Bharadwaja finished his play, the Buddha asked, "Can I ask some questions?" He said, "Yes." Then he asked, "Are visitors coming to your house?" Then the Brahmin said, Akosaka Brahmin said that I'm a very hospitable person. There are so many visitors coming to my house. Okay, how do you treat them? He said, I treat them very well. I treat them with confectionery, sweets, and all this. Okay, that's good. It's very nice of you. And after that, the Buddha asks, what if those visitors who came to your house are to say that we just had our breakfast, lunch, supper, or dinner? So how would you, what would you do at that point? And then he said, no problem, we respect. So when they leave our house, we're going to eat those food and have those meals. Then the Buddha said, just like how they politely rejected your food and beverages, I also think that what you did to me just now, a while ago, was a treat of blame, and I don't want to accept that. So I want you to take it back. And the Buddha very kindly managed the situation. So he responded without reacting. So this is the bigger idea of the what do you call, the tactic with regard to handling praise and blame. Right? But when it comes to praise and blame, I think we discussed that under the first stanza in the Pandita Varga. Sometimes Panditas, wise people, can blame us in a proper manner. Let's say we make mistakes, we are still fine-tuning our practice, but they might be kindly pointing out certain mistakes that we are doing. So we don't have to become very agitated with regard to those things. We are kindly looking at what they are saying, their advices, right? Then only we can improve our Dhamma journey. Right? Our Dhamma journey needs improvements, right? Just like how we look at today's teenagers, right? They need some guidance. Not that what they come up always is not going to be okay, right? Everybody needs some guidance. So when a wise person is to tell us something, at the same time, wise person has to understand how to deliver it. Huh? I think we discussed that. Don't deliver in a way that person of delivery is going to be affected in an embarrassing way. So wise person has to make sure that my piece of advice is delivered to the person in a proper manner, in a wise way, maybe in a private way. I'm not going to embarrass my friend. I'm not going to make that person shameful about what the person did or had done. Right? So anyways, so it's very important to understand that wise people are not moved away by any compliment or any blame, right? So the idea is coming from a story of Venerable Lakuntaka Bhatti. I don't know whether how many of you have heard about this Venerable Sangha member before. His name is Lakuntaka Bhatti. Lakuntaka means, this is the Pali word.
Dwarf is a dwarf. Short.
Lakuntaka means short, right? Now we see a lot of body shaming problems with regard to Buddhist stories, you know. This is a problem. Yeah, even at that time, you know, why you call a monk or Sangha member using the body features, but this was what we have seen. But in modern world, we don't do that. We don't address anybody because of their body, they are fat, thin, whatever, right? We respect everybody. I think that's a part of mindful speech, right? Mindful speech helps us to accept everybody without saying things that are related to that person's body, right? That is one thing. But now we are looking at Buddha's, Buddha's time. So we look at it a little different way. But when it comes to the practice, we look at it a little differently. Actually, the reason why this venerable monk, Lakuntaka Bhattacharya, became a very short person was also as a result of a certain bad karma. It is said that he was doing a lot of good karma in many of his life, but at the same time, when he is engaging in good karma, he was also a little bit cunning in a way, tricky in a way. When he was involving with other people to do good karma, he was a bit tricky person. Sometimes he is cheating on other people too. So he has done good things at the same time. He was kind of tricking other people, cheating on certain things. Do we experience these things in today's world? Those people who are going to certain places, I'm not saying the exact places. When you are a part of a certain spiritual group, when you are doing it over and over, sometimes some people might not be able to keep to their original values, virtues, because then you create a certain subculture in the temple, right? Accept the culture, accept the situation. You went to the temple for the first time, right? Then you like a real devotee, you know, you are real devotee, true devotee. But when you go to know a lot of people, when you get into that culture, I think it's very difficult not to be a part of it. But when you became a part of that culture over time, when that became your home culture in the temple, perhaps some people might behave a little differently. So Lakuntaka Bhattacharya, Venerable Lakuntaka Bhattacharya was one of them. So what happened? He was promoting dana and all that on the side. On the other hand, he was cheating on maybe the credit of the dana, maybe some other things. So that's why it is said he was able to be reborn as a very beautiful, very handsome person, but he was very short. Now, don't think everybody who is short has a problem, right? Don't do that. Right? That's also body shaming, perhaps. So, I mean, if you do a good karma, and at the same time, if you do a kind of a, I would say, little bit of lower activities with regard to those good karma, then what will happen is that it will bear fruit. If I am not mistaken, the exact bad karma he did, it is said that he was asking people to do good karma in a previous life. And then what happened? When another devotee wanted to do a certain merit in the temple, maybe building a building a kuti or something like that. What happened? He used to change that person's mind. You don't have to do that. With this lot of money, make it little. Your budget is too much. See, so he always wanted other people not to spend that extra money to do the good karma. So the person, the devotee wanted to do in that grand scale. So he asked them not to do that way, make it little. What happened? He made the good karma little and then he became little in the next life. So never ever stop other people good karma. Okay? You won't do that. You get the idea of Lakuntaka Bhante, right? In that life, he stopped people's massive good karma. Why do you spend this much money? When someone wants to spend some money to the temple or any other good thing, we don't have to stop. That is up to them. They want to stop it or not. Because then, according to Lakuntaka Bhaddiya's story, we will also be reborn as a very dwarf kind of, very short kind of person. Right? On one side, beautiful, other side, very short. Right? This was why he was reborn as a very short monk. Okay, so this is why he was Lakuntaka. And what else? So he was a son of a very rich person in Savatthi. And what happened as Venerable Lakuntaka Bhaddiya became a monk, always other people thought he was a Samanera. Why? Why other people thought he was a Samanera? May I know?
Look young.
Not look young. He was too short and also the other part too. So the other Samaneras also think this is maybe another Samanera who just became a Samanera. Right? So they used to come to him as just like you see here. Show the photo here, just to see an idea. They used to come to his place and they were pulling his hair and they were tweaking his, what do you call, ears and mouth. They were trying to pick on him, these small other Samaneras, right? This was what happened to Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante, right? But the interesting thing is, by this time, Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante was an Arahant. So he knows how to handle it. But from outside, who knows this is an Arahant? This clearly shows Arahants don't show particular indications that they are Arahants. Otherwise, these Samaneras would have never come closer to him. They're coming, pulling his hair and tweaking his ears and mouth, right? The Buddha was watching all this. Buddha knows what is happening because in one of the previous lives, he condemned somebody's good karma, stop someone spending money. Now in today's world, we might the Vesak ceremony, Katina, another, maybe temple building funds, whatever, right? We should never do that. If somebody wants to spend money, let them spend money. They will understand what to do, what not to do, right? Because in this life, we might not be going through anything, but we will be carrying some other issues in next life. So what happened? The Buddha was watching all this, and then finally Buddha gave a Dhamma talk, and he explained the inner calmness and how Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante dealt with all these situations. He never responded, he never reacted to any other Samanera. He responded to them. He was always like when they are doing as such, he never said, I'm an Arahant and all that, but he dealt with it. He started escaping in certain situations, but he was never showing any reactions to any of them. And then at that point was the time the Buddha told other monks, look at Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante. He is just like a solid rock that is not shaken by any wind. In the same way, individuals, Panditas, like just like Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante, will never be moved away by anything that will happen to them. On one side, we learn about good karma, bad karma, mixed karma. May I know what kind of karma was he going through in this life, last life? Was it a good karma, bad karma, or mixed karma?
Bhante, mixed karma.
It is a mixed karma. Not many people talk about this thing. They always talk about good karma, bad karma. I think a lot of people are going through mixed karma. Now, he stopped someone donating to the temple. And then he was also organizing things in the temple at the same time, parallelly. I think he was a kind of upasaka in the temple, managing a lot of stuff. At the same time, he stopped the generous mind of other new devotees. So, partly good karma, partly bad karma. This is what we see. So, it's a mixed karma, right? So, on one side, from the story of Venerable Lakuntaka, we learn about mixed karma. Second, we are learning more about how does an arahant, an enlightened person, handle praise and blame. I think that is what we're going to be looking at a lot today, because I think this is very normal to all of us, and how we used to handle praise and blame and all that. Okay, let's take a look at the notes at this point. I put it as inner strength in everyday life, right? So being able to handle praise and blame is an inner strength. Sometimes you might be meditating the whole day, you might be chanting the whole day, but when someone says one small wrong word about you, you blast. Why is it? Because you don't know these teachings sometimes. These stages don't come to you at that point. That's why it's very important that to learn how the enlightened ones showing their pandita nature in managing compliments, praises, and then blames. See. Okay, there are 8 points which I usually put. True strength lies in a calm. Venerable Lakuntaka teaches that true strength is not found in physical form, status, or dominance, but in inner composure. Though small and often teased by others, importantly Samaneras, his serenity was unshakable. He embodied that the Buddha praised in the Dhammapada. This is a future stanza we'll be picking up in a couple more weeks. Though one may conquer 1,000 people in battle, he who conquers himself is the greatest victor. Can we discuss about this a little bit now? Because we will be discussing this in a couple more weeks. Why is it important to win us? Normally, when we talk about victory, it is always about other people. We have to win. We have to defeat other people. This is a normal concept that many people are going through. Then what does Buddha say that it's very important to win us over winning other people? May I know? What do you think about it? What is winning us? Winning others is very, very peculiar. I mean, it's very clear for all of us. Winning us means being able to win over the akusala enemies. All our jealousy, anger, all these akusalas are our enemies. We have to win over them. How to win over them? We have to know who they are. We have to know how they are arising. We have to know what conditions lead them to wake up, arise. Now, for many people, even though they know a lot of Dhamma, they don't know how does their anger arise. Why does anger arise in me? They haven't done that search. They haven't done that inquiry within them. So that means winning over oneself means being able to understand causes, conditions, effects of our mental states. But oftentimes what people do is that they always want to win others. The more they win others, they think they are. The more they win others, the higher they go. But that is a complete different idea when it comes to Buddhism, right? And then when they cannot even understand, we will have to advise them okay, at least you give some small wins to other people. Big wins you keep them, you know. One day you will let that go as well. And we make them into small wins versus big wins. Okay, so the Buddha asks us to win over our win our mental states with regard to akusala situation. Actually, this is very important. Have we done a personal inquiry about how does my greed arise in my personal life? How does my anger arise? And why does a particular greed arise in me? Why does the particular jealousy arise in me? At what time did it happen? And what led me to be frustrated? What kind of sadness have I experienced and do I experience? And how did that frustration arise? Are we looking at that, or are we studying over and over about what is sadness, what is dukkha, what is frustration? What are we doing? I think we are studying only about the mental states, but we don't do a search inquiry about why these are happening in my personal life. Then only Dhamma will really arise in us. I know how to handle myself, right? So that's why it's very important to win our mental states with regard to holistic aspects over winning other people. Now, the society is very competitive. Yes, we will have to go with that. I'm not saying that it's bad, but the greatest victory one can achieve in one's life is winning one's mental states from akusala enemies. The funny thing is that akusala enemies don't have any bodies, right? They are very abstract. So we have to know how they are, functioning within us. In a modern world where self-assertion and visibility are highly valued, Venerable Bhattacharya reminds us that mastery of the mind as an enlightened one is the ultimate victory. When one learns to remain calm in the face of insult, to smile without bitterness, and to act without resentment, one becomes truly powerful. Have you ever genuinely smiled when someone was blaming you? Or were you also very much furious with regard to others' situation? Have you ever been able to make a joke over what is happening to you? Sometimes when you're smiling, they try to make you more furious. I think it's not enough for you to be furious this way. Have you ever been able to smile at it internally and take it very easy, the blame and all that? At least you know how to make yourself comfortable at that point. Not that if you are a black and white kind of person, how come I was blamed today? I was okay for 20 hours, but just now this person made me angry or something. That means you're still a black and white person. You can't understand the 8 worldly conditions are going here and there, right? Yes. So regardless of the situation, person, we should be able to improve those things, right? Sometimes we justify our emotions because of the loved ones, right? I mean, when it comes to loved ones, we might not be able to watch it in a way bringing all these good teachings into their situation. You might think that why I should do that, right? Don't justify the audience. Irrespective of the audience, we should be able to bring those valuable teachings. All right. And I have a question here. What is it? The Samirati, Saminjati are translated as moves or shakes in the dictionary. Is there any difference? Yeah, Samirati is with regard to the moving of the wing, actually. Samira. Samira is also referring to wing, air. Saminjati means shaking. shaking with regard to mental states. So these are two types of situations. One is happening to the inanimate objects, while the second one, saminjati, refers to the mental states of the people. Okay, so that's a difference, samirati versus saminjati. All right, and right, patience, kanti, is the highest practice. Venerable Bhaddi's patience was not mere endurance but insight in action. When others mocked him, he neither retaliated nor suppressed resentment. His heart remained soft and undefiled. The Buddha called kanti the highest form of ascetic practice. Kanti paramanta bodhitika, Dhammapada 184. Likewise, in one of his previous Bodhisattva stories, Kantivadi Jataka, J8313, shows the Bodhisattva tolerating torture by a cruel king, saying, "My patience is my strength." For lay people, this means that when provoked, traffic, online, home, patience is not weakness but wisdom. It allows space between stimulus and response. In that space lies freedom. To forgive when insulted, to listen before reacting, and to smile when tempted to frown. These are not small victories. They are signs of a mind free from hatred. Venerable Bhatti's life shows that patience, not argument, reveals the depth of understanding. But I think we discuss another higher layer of this understanding. It doesn't mean that when people blame you, you always keep quiet and then they will keep doing the same thing over and over to make you more uncomfortable. Yes, your reply is a response. Response is kanti, but your kanti has to be wise. I always tell you that our all mental states, our all good virtues must be infused with panya, wisdom. That means we are not going to argue, but we are wisely behaving at that point. Is it wrong to ask them, why are you blaming me? Rather than we are going to blame that person. Have you ever asked, why are you blaming me like this? Right? Try to be very objective. Not that if you blame me, I also blame you, right? It's like the pride nature. If you don't like me, I also don't like you, right? This was one of the ways people were actually sharing stuff. If you don't love me, I also don't love you. This kind of nature is going to go beyond that. Might be a petty idea, but the way is that we are looking at it from a larger, broader point of view. Right? That point of view is that, yes, I will become patient, but I will ask you very wise questions, just like the Buddha. If I keep quiet all the time, they will throw everything at me. It shouldn't happen too, right? So this patience is something that you are getting ready for a wisdom, okay? You are planning the situation with wisdom, but you are not reacting. If they say something, you are doing the same thing. No, that is not the Buddhist way. Okay. Third thing, be like the rock, not the wave. Now, this is the most important part in the first two lines of the stanza. You can see here, Selo yata ekagano, solid rock, and then the shaken wind. Which one would you like to be? Would you like to be a solid rock or a shaking wind? May I know? It depends, right? It depends. Ask me under which situation. Yeah, depending on the situation. Say, for instance, when you are going through blame and praise, and in that point of view, you could be someone who is going to respond to them. What if the person who is blaming you is to say, I'm also a rock, solid rock. Whatever you say, I'm going to keep blaming you just like a solid rock. Can it happen? It can happen too. There are people who are very much hardwired. When they blame very badly. When they criticize very badly, right? So that's why we have to know what is the context of the solid rock. This solid rock is an idea with regard to someone who is dealing with a very difficult situation that is coming from a blame or a praise. Can we talk about the praise side too? When people are praising, you are the best. There was nobody who did this so far. You are the best. But there's a high chance that we might be moving at that point. Because one of the conditions why people move is that they were not complimented before. So there is a chance of feeling overwhelmed at that point. So not moving is not an emotional dysfunction. It is not an emotional blindness. You still say thank you. You still want to respond to that person in a better way, but you are not escalating the bad situation, and you are not going to let you overwhelm with the compliment, right? So that means there are a lot of things that need to happen in the face of a praise or a blame. So here, again, we understand, be like the rock, not the wind. This is depending on a situation, how we respond to situation. The Selo Upamas, simile of the rock, describes the wise as unmoved by praise and blame, just as a mountain is unshaken by the wind. Venerable Bhatia lived this truthfully, mocked by others, yet inwardly still. The Sala Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 36.6 explains that the untrained person is struck by two arrows, pain and mental anguish, while the wise feel only the first. What does it mean? This sutta mentions that with regard to what is happening, experiences of anybody's life, the unwise person is shot with two arrows. One is the physical pain, definitely it is very tangible. The other one is the mental pain regarding that physical pain. But the wise person only has the physical pain part. I mean, they are not creating any sanya with regard to what was happening. I think you will be able to read a lot of information. I would like to take this a little bit more. The fourth note, Attaloka Dhamma, understanding the 8 worldly conditions. The Buddha told that all beings experience the 8 vicissitudes, worldly conditions, gain, loss, fame, defame, disrepute, praise, blame, happiness, unhappiness. And this information was given by the Buddha in the Loka Vipatti Sutta. You can click on this and it will take you to the sutta. At the same time, furthermore, I would like you to watch a Dhamma talk I gave on this sutta at PGF in December 2023. And this has more information about it. Okay, can we discuss about Attaloka Dhamma? Okay, this sutta, what you call Loka Vipatti Sutta, Anguttara Nikaya 8.6 talks about something very interesting. The sutta says that the 8 worldly conditions revolve around us and we are revolving around the 8 worldly conditions. May I know how does it happen? Now, what are the 8 worldly conditions? Labo, alabo, ayaso, yaso, ninda, pasansa, sukha, dukkha. Laba means sometimes we gain profits. Then alaba, sometimes we lose money and a lot of things in our life. Laba, alaba. Sometimes we are complimented by other people. Sometimes we are criticized by other people, constructively or non-constructively. Sometimes our reputation spreads very nicely. Sometimes our reputation is not there at all. Sometimes we are happy, sometimes we are unhappy. Why is this? Is it my problem or your problem? It is not our problem. It is the nature of the 8 worldly conditions. Okay. Now, what does the Buddha say by that? These 8 worldly conditions revolve around us, go around us. What does it mean? May I know? They call Loka Dhamma Lokang Anuparivattanti. This is the Pali statement. What does it mean by that? That means, what do these 8 worldly conditions mean? Those are external circumstances, right? I mean, in order for me to be gainful, or maybe to lose something, or maybe to get a compliment or a criticism or a reputation or a certain kind of blame, happiness, unhappiness, then there must have happened certain external circumstances. Can you think about a moment you got some gains or some profits? That must have been an external circumstance, right? Maybe money. You could say, oh, the market was good. I got a good job. Why was it? Maybe that was parallel to the time, or my skills were matched with that too. External circumstances are revolving around us. Then what did the Buddha say? That we are revolving around them? 8 worldly conditions. The other way around, what does it mean? We are reacting to those 8 worldly conditions. When I'm getting a gain, I react to it. Oh, I'm so good now. I get a lot of gains. But when I lose stuff, I am reacting also to that loss. When I am happy, I react to that external circumstance or happiness. When I'm unhappy, I react to it. Now that is why the Buddha said, Loka Dhamma Lokang Anuparivattanti. 8 worldly conditions revolve around us. And Lokocha Attaloka Dhamme Anuparivattanti. We, sentient beings, also revolve around 8 worldly conditions. Now we will see what is happening over there. Think about the first worldly condition, gain, labo. Labo, right? Labo. Gain obsesses the mind, right? Loss obsesses the mind too. All these are obsesses the mind differently. What happens when I'm getting gains? When you are getting gain, you are attracted to the gain, right? Can I get it again? Remember that story, Jataka story? What is that? Suvanna Hansa, right? Suvanna Hansa Jataka. I can't remember the number. In the Suvanna Hansa Jataka story, there was a golden bird coming to a certain house. Every time the bird drops a golden feather onto the land. So what happened from that day onwards, people in that house grab that golden feather and they bring it to the local market and they used to sell that golden feather to a certain price and they became slowly doing well, kind of rich too. But one day, the lady in the house became very much greedy about this idea. She was thinking, what will happen if this golden eagle not to come to our house, right? What will happen to us? Then the family members asked, what could we do tomorrow when the golden eagle comes to our house, our place? We will catch him. We will take out all his golden feathers. So we will have so much money, right? You know how many feathers does a golden eagle may have. Tomorrow, golden eagle came to the house, maybe a swan Hansaraja. What happened? They caught him and they took out all his feathers. And that was the last day he came to the house and he left. Sometimes when we are very greedy, we even lose what we have, right? When we become stingy and greedy, we even lose what we have, right? That's why even the greed has to be in a certain level. If it goes high up, then we will lose everything. So that is why the Buddha said, when there is a certain gain, happiness, reputation happens, then what happens? We are attracted to that particular good side of the worldly condition. But when the opposite side happens to us, let's say loss, maybe criticism, maybe bad reputation, maybe unhappiness, what will happen is that then we are repelled by that particular situation. We are repelled all the time. So overall, what will happen is that we are creating a tanha towards the attraction, and we are creating an aversion towards what we don't like. So then the Buddha says, this is the place the Buddha asks people's happiness. The Buddha said that yata bhuta jnana. Have you ever heard this word, Pali word before? Yata bhuta jnana. Maybe I'm going to type it here for your knowledge. Yata bhuta jnana. Pali word, no? Then the Buddha said, if people don't have the right attitude towards 8 worldly conditions, what is the right attitude? Yata bhuta jnana. Then they will suffer a lot in their life. Now, this is the complete opposite of Venerable Lakuntaka Bhante. May I know what is the Yata bhuta? What is Yata bhuta?
Accept things as they are.
Okay. Yata bhuta. Yata bhuta means to understand 3 things with regard to 8 worldly conditions. What are those 3 things? Number 1 is anicca. Anicca means being able to understand the changing nature. Number 2 is dukkha nature. Dukkha nature means
Unsatisfactoriness.
unsatisfactory nature.
Anatta.
No, not anatta. That's the thing.
The third one.
Anatta is a higher understanding. Anatta is an enlightenment understanding. Third one is viparinama dhamma.
Oh, changes.
Viparinama dhamma means, this is very interesting. Now, anicca means we know they are changing. But viparinama means sometimes we don't know that there are things they are subject to change.
Bhante, could you write that down, please?
Yes, yes.
Thank you, Bhante.
Okay, viparinama dhamma. So when you have yatabhuta jnana with regard to the 8 worldly conditions, think about, let's say, I got money, I got a good career, I got good health. It's a gain, right? It's a labh. But I have to understand this labh is also, this great health also changing at a certain point. But while I'm benefiting and being happy for my good health, I also have to think it can change. And dukkha means when it is changing, I might not like it. Viparinama dhamma means the nature of any formation. We have to understand that very carefully, because anicca, dukkha come from viparinama dhamma. Viparinama dhamma means everything is subject to change. What is not subject to change? It is nibbana, right? So anicca nature, dukkha nature, viparinama dhamma nature means yata bhuta. Seeing things as they are, it is one area of understanding life. Later on, it was taken as a meditation, vipassana meditation. But we understand that as an overall perspective with regard to what is happening. But in order for us to come to yatha bhuta, think about that you messed up with someone in anger, right? Earlier, maybe in the past. then next time if you use this tree, anicca nature of that situation, dukkha nature, viparinama dhamma nature, you have yathabhuta. Then the Buddha says in this Loka Vipatti Sutta that wise people, it might be a non-enlightened person, it might be an enlightened person, always looks at any of the worldly condition, labha, alabha, ayasa, yasa, ninda, pasansa, sukha, dukkha, anything in his or her life through these three yathabhuta perspectives. Huh? That means we are asked to look at our wins, our reputation, our money, our good health, our criticism, happiness, whatever the thing with regard to this. Now, can we take it into a negative state? Let's say you are criticized every day. Then you are very much worried. Why am I being criticized every day? As I said earlier, you have to become wise, right? I mean, you respond to them, not react to them. But at the same time, you know, this criticism cannot be permanent, right? Why are people very much worried when they are criticized? May I know? They think it is permanent. You only take it from the good side. Your good health is permanent. What about your bad health? It is also impermanent. You might be good. Who knows? There may be a better treatment coming up. Maybe you find a good doctor, new doctor. Right? People who are always worried about their money, why are you worried? Perhaps you will land on a better job. Who knows? So this Yathabhuta way of understanding 8 worldly condition matters to not only to the good side, but also to the bad side. Then we can truly respond to the situation. I think that's enough for 8 worldly conditions. So you have to look at them through Yathabhuta Jnana. Yathabhuta Jnana is something that should be directed at what you call 8 worldly conditions. We will take a look at the next points. Emotional balance is a modern necessity. Now, what is happening at the end is that there is an emotional balance. We have a Pali word for that. That means upekka. Upekka is what is helping us at the end. You can see here the Sangarava Sutta, Samyutta Nikaya 4655 states that mindfulness leading to balance guards the mind from bias, fear, and why does mindfulness matters now at this point? When people are doing those things, when things are happening to us, how can we catch it? We can catch it through mindfulness, right mindfulness. Otherwise, we cannot catch it, right? Blames and all the good things. So definitely, that means we're going back to the normal eightfold path. The 6th one is virtue transforms even difficult circumstances. You can see here, Venerable Bhattya got a certain designation. What was the designation that the Buddha designated him to be the monk who has a sweet voice when he was giving a Dhamma talk. But he has a darker side in his life. Why were many people picking on him in a different way? Because he destroyed other people's good karma that they were trying to do. Destroyed meaning he stopped. So we learn that when it comes to good karma, we don't talk about bad karma. Definitely bad is bad. When we talk about the good karma, be that a monetary donation, be that a non-monetary volunteer act, we should never ever stop anybody in doing that. We have to encourage them. But if there are certain, I would say, issues which the donor, which the other person might know, you can give an advice, but you have to always encourage them to do more. So that was the only issue which Venerable Lakuntaka Bhattya went through. Other than that, his patience and how he handled all that was good. Right. And finally, freedom comes from letting go of reaction. So I want to highlight, when it comes to any worldly condition, let us not react, but respond. Okay. Let us respond, not react. May I know the difference between reaction and response? That's a question for you. Give me an example of one of the 8 greatly condition has affected you. And then how was the reactive side? How was the response side? Anybody?
Bhante, respond is just to tell them, which is telling them what is right and what is wrong, giving them the good side of the question being raised or anything that's been raised.
All right. Another way to look at it is, Susan?
Oh, Bunty, would it be one has emotion involved in it?
Mm-hmm. Would you make it to an example? How can it
You,
happen to emotions?
if you were to react, you would have emotion in your speech and even in your physical side. And the opposite would be to just speak quietly with knowledge,
No
but
emotions involved in a
without
So are you
in a
saying
response.
that responses don't carry any emotions?
Well, I think one would have more emotion with a with maybe a physical reaction as well, and the other one may have a softer emotion if it has emotion in it.
Okay.
Thank
What
you.
if we put we carry wise emotions with regard to a response, and we carry unwise emotions, because emotion is an affective level of feeling about something. Yes, Jenny, you want to comment on that too?
Yeah, maybe when we react, we will react maybe angrily or telling something bad in return. But we respond, maybe it's like what Bhante just say. You ask back, why would you say such a thing about me?
Okay. Yeah, that's a way to think. Yes, Sumita?
Bhante, a reaction is an automatic impulsive
That is a good observation. It's
emotional response.
automatic.
While this emotional response to a stimulus, while a response is a thoughtful, deliberate, and conscious choice.
Okay.
Made
you
after
gave it very philosophically and psychologically.
made after processing the
Spot on.
situation.
Okay. At the same time, yes, Stacy, you want to say anything too?
Just like the previous sister, thank you, said, is respond is we choose how to deal with the situation instead of react like spontaneously on the emotion or whatever the
Okay.
emotion.
All right. So when it comes to responding without reacting, what are the things we can do actually? One thing is that taking time, because automatic activities are very quick, because we think that there are quick fixes with regard to some situations. Now, say for instance, you got a bad message to your social media app, an email, maybe a bad email. A response might be you taking some time to respond to that, right? But what if you are going to, I mean, with regard to how to respond to it, right? So sometimes we might need to postpone certain responses, right? let's say that somebody sent a very bad message to you, email to you. If you're going to reply at the same time, you might carry a lot of unwise emotions, right? Because you are also not settled down with regard to what happened. What if you take in some time? If it is not urgent, right? If it is not urgent, why not take in time? So that could be a wiser response. So I think we need to go to wiser response. But also we should not play down about automatic reactions too. We have to sometimes react, right? Especially when there is a danger, we have to react. We don't have to take a response. Let me think about that. And when I think about, more damage might happen to me, right? So I cannot take more time for that. We are talking about 8 worldly conditions which we can take some time and then respond. I think most of our problems can be answered by taking some time, not going on autopilot and that. Yes, Pauline?
Thank you, Bhante. But what I normally do is I make sure when I respond that I am not angry. I check my emotions. So if I'm angry, I will not respond because that's the worst. It will escalate the situation most of the time. Yeah.
Okay, that's a very good way to do. But what if people keep provoking you, try to get something out of you? How would you respond to that situation? Yes, that is very good if you can maintain that composure. But if
But especially
people,
it's easier, of course, Monday from a message, a text message. The first time you look at it, you get a bit, the first impression you're not happy already. So normally I will stay calm and maybe not respond. Or I have to admit, if it's in a face-to-face situation, it'll be very difficult.
yeah, so
Sometimes, yeah, Bhante, maybe have to walk away. Because
yeah.
most of the time, if we respond at that time, probably regret what we say,
Yes. I
after.
think we have to look at conditions. Well, if it is possible to walk away, we can walk away. What if we cannot walk away? It's a family gathering. It's a important event. We might not be able to walk away. What can we do at that point? How to stay calm? How to stay wise? I think this is the next level of this understanding. Yes, Melly?
Bante, I find one way is you could bounce it off someone else because I've noticed from my experience, like I see this message, I may take it more personally, but when you show it to someone else, they say it's okay, it's normal, or it's reasonable. So I think it's quite good, like you say, to delay your reaction and then only you respond. Another thing, Bante, you realize sometimes, especially with all these messages, emails, you don't respond, actually, you win. Because it's such thing as ghosting, actually you win because it plays a mental game with the other person because you're just ignoring him or her. And it actually the other party will be agitated. Why is she not responding to me? So I find maybe keeping quiet sometimes is good too. No need to respond at all.
And at that point, you enjoy the benefit of
I mean, hopefully not with
punya,
a
punya,
bad
punya.
intention.
Yes.
Hopefully. But yeah, sometimes nowadays people take great offense to being ghosted. So like don't have nothing to say, don't say. Yeah.
Yeah,
Thank you.
that's very good. I think we have to get ready. I mean, these are your examples. All of us, we have to get ready for a buffer zone, way out. When people are giving us a hard time, how to respond. When we go through a hard time because of our own decision, we should know how to find a way out. Otherwise, people look for very, very difficult situations. They go for unnecessary things. Sometimes when people are angry, they would like to distribute the anger among the friends, huh?
Sometimes one day it's funny if
They want to distribute. Yes.
One day sometimes it's funny, like sometimes out of the blue someone is rude or says something so irrelevant, but and sometimes we don't know how to answer, so we actually don't say anything. But once we go back, we feel a bit dissatisfied that we didn't give a smart reply.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
sometimes like we could have handled it better, but most
I
of the
think, I
time
think, I
sometimes
think, I think the idea is if we don't know how to handle, at least we made the peace during that time. Later on, we will find out an answer if it is necessary. At least that moment, that was a very challenging moment. We didn't know what would have happened if we had not stayed on to the peace. Because with some people, there are no answers. It just spending the time, right? So let us find the answer later. At least we de-escalated the provocations, right? So what we discussed here was not to put down anybody, because these things might be gone through by everybody. This is about other people. What about internal mental activities, jealousy and all that? So we also have to understand them, not automatically come up with some ideas to react. So then finally, what we can say through this stanza today we discussed was, let us try not to move in the time of or in the time in the place of any compliment or criticism. When someone compliments us, we happily, we very humbly say thank you to that person, but not to become overwhelmed with that compliment. Not to shrug off and not to become somebody who is way, way higher than the earth. On the other hand, when someone constructively or non-constructively put us down, we don't have to become moved. We patiently understand what's going on. If it was done with a malicious thought, we don't have to, as we discussed just now, have to react. Maybe it's a moment to understand who those people are. Also, finally, I want to highlight the importance of Kalyana Mitras when we are going through situations like 8 worldly conditions. I think Kalyana Mitras can support us. Our support line is not 800 call numbers. Our support line is Kalyana Mitras. How can Kalyana Mitras help us understand what was happening with this person, right? I mean, if you can share those things. So at least we will have some kind of support, some kind of attitude support with those people too. So just like Venerable Lakuntaka taught us, not because he's an enlightened person, definitely, not to be moved away by anything, not even Ninda Pasansa, but also with any other worldly conditions, just like how he responded. In the same way, let us learn. Let us try our level best to wisely respond to worldly conditions, because they are revolving around us and we are revolving around us. We might not be revolving around them if we don't react to them. If we respond to them, they will go away. But because we want to react to them instantly, we think sometimes there are quick fixes, then we are in trouble. Let us understand the deep nature of these 8. Perhaps you can read the sutta and the sutta discussion too. So this is what we've been discussing about Pandita. So one of the very important characteristics of wise people is how they respond to 8 worldly conditions, in particular with regard to Venerable Lakuntaka story, Ninda Pasansa, right? So then you are becoming somebody who can never become provocated as such. You are the cooling point in any conversation when people are trying to escalate, provocate you. You are the base of that thing. You will become a solid rock, but as time necessitates, you will be the wind too. If there is any change that you are expected to do, you are able to do that too, right? So it depends on the niche. So with that, let us wrap this up.
Bhante?
Yes, Corina?
Can I ask, is like on the road, especially like vehicles, some they drive very recklessly and then they just cut you and then they go in and out. So it's best to let them be and then rather than get in trouble.
Yeah. Road is a cooperative culture. We find sometimes those reckless people. We don't
Yes.
have to get into road rage. If somebody wants to go past her, let them go. You find out. You think about it. It's a nekkhamma. I practice nekkhamma on the highway, freeway. Because if you want to go past me, I'll let you go, right? But don't curse anybody.
Yeah.
To that extent.
Yeah.
You want to overtake me? I
Go ahead.
let you do that. I practice nekkhamma in this way. But you make sure you are safe, right? So I think we can find out this happiness anywhere, not even on the road, house, anywhere in our life. That's the beauty of understanding Yatha Bhuta Jnana with regard to 8 worldly conditions. Yatha Bhuta Jnana means anicca nature, dukkha nature, viparinama dhamma nature. Okay, so with that, let us end our sutta discussion, OPRC class, online Pali reading class. May all the teachings we've been learning today, especially to handle praise and criticism, blame, which are 2 parts of 8 worldly condition, be transferred to all departed relatives who passed away in the name of all of us. May they be well and happy. May they attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. Idang me nyati nang hotu sukita hontu nyatayo. May Deva Naga Mahidika receive all these good karmas. May they be well and happy. May they protect and bless all of us, all of you, not even you, your family members. May all you be protected by them for good health, quality of life, prosperity, safety, and happiness. May they also bless our Dhamma journeys. May our Dhamma journeys not become stagnant Dhamma journeys. May our Dhamma journeys become seamless, continuous Dhamma journeys. May Devanaga Mahidika finally attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe devan mudantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe bhuta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Ittavatacha amhehi sambatang punya sampadang sabbe satta anumodantu sabba sampatti siddhya. Akasatta Chibumata Devanaga Mahitika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tusasanang Akasatta Chibumata Devanaga Mahidika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tudisanang Akasatta Chibumata Devanaga Mahindika Punyantang Anumoditva Chirang Rakhang Tumang Parang Chirang Rakhang Tutuan Sadati. Our Dhamma which always reminds us the importance of being surrounded with Kalyana Mitras, in other words, Pandita, Satpurisa. At the same time, may we become Kalyana Mitras to as many sentient beings as we meet in this samsaric life, till we attain Nibbana. Imina punya kammena mame bala samagamu satang samagamu hotu yava nibbana patya. Finally, may all the good karmas we've been learning today by focusing on Venerable Lakuntakbadya story and then 8 worldly conditions be supportive and helpful for all of us to attain the supreme bliss of Nibbana. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Abhivadana Siddhisa Nichang Vaddha Pachaino Chattaro Dhamma Vaddhanti Ayuvanno Sukhang Balang Ayurarogya Sampatti Sagga Sampatti Mevacha Ato Nibbana Sampatti Iminati Samichatu. Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. With those blessings, wishing you a pleasant good night, and we look forward to seeing you on next Thursday at the same time. Good night, everybody.
Thank
Good night.
you,
Thank you.
Bhante.
Good night, everybody.
Sadhu,
Thank you,
sadhu.
Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante.
Everyone.
Good night, Bhante. Good night, everybody.
Thank you so much, Bhante.
Thank you, Bhante. Thank you.
Sadhu, sadhu, sadhu. Good night, everyone.
To everybody, but Bhante
Sadhu.
Sadhu.
I don't know what happened to my video, Bhante. I cannot see myself. I wish you well. Thank you
Yeah,
so much for
thank you.
today's
Yeah,
lesson.
wish you the
Sadhu,
same.
sadhu, sadhu. Terawan saranai.
Yeah, good night, everybody. Yes.